campus of KU. It's the Stonehill Lawrence. It's the #1 hotel in the world for the trademark collection of Wyndham Hotels. We just won an award in Vegas just a month ago. And we own the Endeavor Inn Suites, which is off Wanamaker Road here in Topeka. So we've been in this market now for 4.5 years. And so we have sort of learned the market, and we hope that we're considered a part of the community already. Our regional general manager, Kayla Chapman, who will have responsibility for the Hotel Topeka in terms of its business operation, is a resident of Topeka and is based here and will remain based here. We got attracted to regional conference hotels for a variety of reasons. The main one being that they are community-based. They're major elements within the economy of cities, whether that's large or small. And we view them as assets for the community. And so we're constantly looking for opportunities in this space where we can not just be a hotelier, but we can be a member of the community and reinvest and bring energy into these spaces where the hotels they're more than just a place to sleep. There's other activities that are going on. There are conferences that are being brought in. There are community events that can occur here. We want to bring live entertainment back into the hotel. I've told some of the council members, and listeners at home, any TV show you want to go in, I guarantee you there are episodes where meetings are taking place in hotels, in a hotel bar or restaurant somewhere. And that used to be the case everywhere. And I understand it was the case with the Hotel Topeka. The Hotel Topeka was someplace where local business people did business. They brought clients. And we would like to be able to recreate that time, that feeling, that sense of energy. We think we have a good plan. I do have some slides of what we're doing in Columbia. We have a 298-room hotel in let's see if we can find it here. Breaststroke is the one we want. If you can click that one on. And I'll have to rely on you.
This one?
Yes, that's great. So if you can put that up on the screen. And if you can just kind of page through just slowly, I'll talk. I just want to give people, we're not going to spend a lot of time on this, but I want to give you a feel. This is a progress report from one of our projects, and it'll give you a feel for the attention that we give to getting it right and thinking, and this is the schematic of the hotel. Again, it's 298 rooms, it's 45,000 square feet of event space. And if you continue on, go on. This is what we were going to do to the hallways. These were very dated, very dark, very dank. And the design that we're taking is something similar that you'll see here. This is a gift shop design that we went through with the design team to really ensure we had a good quality product relative to retail. Continue. Let's just give you we went through the finishes, keep going. Just kind of page through maybe every 5 seconds or so. Fine dining. It's very important to us in the full service world that we exceed expectations on fine dining. We're putting in a steakhouse to that location called Churchill's. It's obviously predicated upon a kind of a British club concept, and that's in the process of being built out now. It's going to have a dedicated glassed-in wine room, higher-end finish. But one of the other things that it incorporates on a slide that should be coming up here shortly is a private dining room. And one more, please, maybe, or another one. Hopefully there's stop. If you could hold there for a second. This is a conference hotel, so even though this is a food and beverage venue, we wanted to have a private dining capability that we could offer to clients that were coming with large associations or corporations that had investors or their boards. We want to be able to have this as a venue that's available to them that elevates their experience with us that much higher than just having a space for the event itself. Okay, if you continue. But you can see the attention to detail and the form and finish that we bring to hotels. These are not, this is live arrival and registration. These large conference hotels can process 300, 400, 500 people at a go in a couple-hour time period. And so we wanted to make sure that our registration and reception area was able to handle that. And so we needed to expand the capacity of the existing hotel and add in some mobile capabilities and some concierge capabilities to be able to process those guests. And again, these are concepts and approaches that we want to bring to the facility here. We have an atrium lounge there. Obviously, there's an atrium in this hotel. We would approach this very similar. You can see some of the selections that we have on materials. It's a warmer, modern approach that creates, I think, a conducive environment for people to relax and enjoy. We have large artwork collections that we have on display there. By the way, if you could stop for a second, that's one of the things I mentioned to the mayor that we want to do in all of our hotels, is to find a space within the hotel where we can partner with local galleries or local schools that have art programs and provide an exhibit space so that as people are visiting the community, they can see artists from the community represented and they can purchase those. And we are not taking commission on that. It's just the ability to get that exposure to the public. This installation you're seeing right now, if you hold for a second, is a custom installation we're having fabricated for this particular area that'll be suspended above the bar and kind of define it more. We didn't think it was defined enough as a distinct element of the hotel, and so we wanted to give it its own character and personality. And we will look for other opportunities within both the conference center and the hotel to look for opportunities like this where we can take it one level higher and sort of elevate the experience that the public will have when they come into the space. And I don't know that we need to go any further with this presentation. I think it gets across the attention that we are bringing to this process. But the other thing that's important for this group to understand is that this work that we did, we spent a lot of time on this, and we spent a lot of time not just for the Columbia Hotel, but because we wanted to have a format, sort of a brand standard that we could export to the deals that we were doing in the future. And so that's the case here. So we have the advantage when we come to the table to start this renovation that we know the furniture we want to put into the public space. We know the carpets that we want to purchase. We know, and we have the resources to do that in terms of our relationship with the mills. We buy directly from the mills. So those benefits we're going to bring to this project to be able to do it in a compressed time frame. From a strictly business perspective, it's to my advantage, the advantage of my company, that from the time we close to the time we're done with the renovation, the more we can compress that into a limited period of time, the better it is for everyone. I've mentioned to the council members that this world of conference hotels, if you're the Illinois Teachers Association or the Kansas Teachers Association, and you have training events for your constituents, for your school members, you want to have that conference, you want to have that training event at the same time every year. And so these events tend to be booked multiple years at a time. And so it's going to take some time to win business back to Topeka, but we're prepared to make that investment relative to capital expenditure and working capital because we believe in the product. If we didn't believe in the product, we wouldn't be here. But it's more than the hotel. We could absolutely elevate the hotel finishes, but absent a similar effort at the convention center portion of this property, we won't be successful. Because we not only have to take care of the guests that arrive to stay at the hotel, we have to attract the meeting planners who are going to make the decisions to come into the community and have their event here in Topeka. And so we're working very closely with the county, and I'm pleased to report that I think those conversations are going well. And that we have, I think, the framework of a pathway to both renovate and modernize, or what I call regenerative development of the hotel and the conference center. I want to acknowledge in the room tonight Greg Schwartz from the firm of Schwartz Architects that's here. and Greg, I'm sure most of you know, we've worked with him previously on a project for our Topeka hotel, and our intention is to have Greg team with us as we approach with the county, specifically the conference center, because we believe that there's a need to elevate that facility. It's not just gonna be carpet and paint, it's gonna be architectural improvements and design enhancement of that facility, so that it's someplace that meeting planners are gonna be proud to present to their guests and clients. A couple things that I know have been raised as concerns, I wanted to make sure that I have an opportunity to talk directly to the public here. We are not in the business of buying and flipping hotels. We have sold hotels, we've sold them for very definitive business reasons. But what my main strategic goal as CEO is, and the founder of Endeavor, is that I am focused on building a regional enterprise of 20 to 30 large conference hotels in the Midwest and the Heartland, the Midwest and the Mountain States, finite number of markets. We know them well because we operated in those markets before. And so we're not interested in selling. We're interested in building, developing, and then operating these to the point where we get to where we have an enterprise of this network of hotels that have similar approaches to talent management. I want to be able to take the young AGM that we hire for Topeka and have some place for him to graduate to run his own large conference hotel. We want to take the sous chef who's ready to be an executive chef and have some place to send him. So we are approaching this from a talent management perspective, that people are our most important asset. You can't have sincere hospitality if your team isn't well treated and isn't properly trained and doesn't like what they're doing. So attracting and recruiting the right people into our organization and then equipping them for success is what Endeavor Hotel Group is all about. So we're not going to buy this, renovate it, and sell it. I do think we have a pathway with the county. I don't think that's going to be an obstacle. We felt it was important to include in the PSA basic LOI structure because we think that the hotel cannot be successful unless it has this capacity to attract larger clients that are going to bring the room night into the community. I want to make a second point here, which I think is really important for this group, especially, and for the people at home. Our experience with our other large conference hotels is that when we secure a large contract with, like, the Missouri Teachers Association, we don't have the capacity in our hotel to handle everything that comes in. And so when we book an event, not only are we getting the benefit of that event in our hotel, but generally we're sending 100 to 200 room nights every night out to other hotels in the community. And then those guests are also going to restaurants and shopping in the community while they're here. So it's a force multiplier from an economic benefit, from a sales tax generation, from a transient guest tax. It's not just about the increment that is produced at this hotel, it's the added demand that's going to be brought into the entire community. But to do that, we have to have a venue that can compete with Kansas City and with Omaha and with other locations that have other conference facilities. We want this to be an exceptional place for people to bring their business. I think I want to close really with just recognizing that we've gotten to this point through the efforts of the staff. We have, by the way, been looking at this hotel for several years. When it first came up for auction, we considered bidding on it. I did not bid on it at the time, only for the reason that we had an existing strategic acquisition in progress that conflicted in the time frame that the auction had for consideration. And I made a choice as a CEO not to diminish my focus on the strategic goal that we had in place at the time But I also kind of felt that we'd probably get a second bite at the apple too, because that happens a lot with these larger assets. There's a limited pool of buyers, not because of the money, but because of the complexity of the operating model. And a lot of hoteliers that think they're gonna be successful because they've had select service hotels find out that this world is a completely different world. My payroll in Colombia is $150,000 every 2 weeks. The taxes that we collect and remit back to the county and to the state of Missouri are similarly sized in terms of the benefit relative to a normal hotel. So we believe that we can bring value into the community, but I want to recognize that we wouldn't be here if we hadn't been in discussions with staff, having difficult sometimes but very candid conversations concerning the needs of the city, the needs of the county on this hand. It's a very complex deal from that standpoint, in the sense that we're dealing with two different governmental bodies to essentially be able to transform what's going to be a commercial operation that we are going to invest significant capital into. We believe this can be a profitable location. We believe that not only can we return it to pre-COVID levels of business, but that we can exceed that. And then we see other opportunities further with the 80-acre campus to pursue, again, a regenerative redevelopment concept that's going to bring additional businesses that will create additional demand and make our location even that much more valuable. So we benefit, the community benefits, and those new retail or businesses that co-locate in that area, we think we can drive benefit for. But I appreciate this opportunity to talk with you tonight. I look forward to continuing to work with staff relative to concluding the PSA. I've been through it one time. I commend the city attorney. I think it was a great starting product, which is not always the case. So it was nice to see that, and I think our attorneys are exchanging some limited comments at this point on a couple of items, but I don't think there's any substantive issues to proceeding forward as long as this group concurs with that once it's ready for signature. And on the county, we have meetings tomorrow, and we will continue to have meetings with county. But again, I see no obstacles to reaching a point where these two projects are aligned, have similar objectives, and are properly resourced. So subject to your questions, and I'm happy to take any questions from this group, Mr. Mayor, those will be my remarks for tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Ernst. Any questions from the body? Okay. Well, I want to thank you for your presentation.
Mayor.
I'm sorry.
Tonight.
Yes.
Roy, can you please describe your initial conversations with the Wyndham
Yes.
Corporation in
Sure.
terms of what their recommendations are in terms of how to bring?
Sure. Just for reference, I want to have a commercial for Wyndham here a little bit. When we had those, and we were getting that portfolio ready for sale in 2018, 2019, they were all independent hotels. And we elected to go with Wyndham for a variety of reasons. But because this was one of the largest deals Wyndham have ever had to rebrand that number of hotels in one transaction, I was able to establish personal relationships with the CEO, Jeff Bellotti of Wyndham Hotels and Resorts. I have subsequently gotten to know the chairman of Wyndham Hotels and Resorts, all the executive vice presidents, and I have a relationship with the brand presidents. And so we have elected to pursue a Wyndham-only strategy. That's a self-imposed restraint that I've done for several reasons. One of the main ones is I could talk about on that talent progression, right? If you have common business systems of record and you have brand standards that are common, then people can move up in the organization without needing to be retrained. And we can establish deeper relationships with the brand so that they can assist us in being successful. But also because of my relationship, when it comes to property improvement plans, and now this group has been an owner of a hotel, and you kind of know what I'm talking about. Folks at home may not. That stands for Property Improvement Plan. And it's a brand mandated standard you must meet if you want to have their franchise on your hotel. So I have established the credibility as a hotelier with Wyndham in terms of what we do, that I can get some latitude that normally I would not be afforded, where they trust me on my judgment, because remember I said it's important that there's a tie to the community. So I don't want a cookie cutter. I want something that resonates with each community. Commonality, again, of business systems and some of the finishes, but where we can riff a little bit on a local community and bring in some local color and vibrancy. And they trust me on that. So we've looked at 2 Wyndham brands for this property because it's a conference hotel. And one of them was Dolce. I'm doing one other Dolce project and probably another. But I was just at a Wyndham event. I was ambushed to play in the Wyndham Championship Pro-Am. They didn't tell me that when I went. And so when I finally found out, I'd spent a lot of time with a golf pro for about 6 weeks before the event. It was great because in those events, business happens, and we talked about Hotel Topeka, and their staff, Jeff had their staff take a deep dive looking at this, and we reached a conclusion that this may be better positioned as a Wyndham full-service hotel as opposed to a Dolce, simply because it's not strictly a resort property. We are going to evaluate that, and I give my word to this group that we're going to make a decision cooperatively with the city to make sure that the brand that we place on the hotel is going to produce the best benefit for the long-term value of the property. Obviously, we want that as well. I'm confident that with my relationship, we will be able to get the property improvement plan structured in a way not to avoid costs, because we end up doing things that the brands don't require us to do, frankly. Churchill's is not a brand requirement. That's going to be an expensive investment, but we think it's the right thing to do to produce the guest experience that we want at the hotel in Columbia. And we'll do the same thing here in Topeka. So we will, in a very short period of time, we will have a recommendation for this group on what Wyndham and I believe is the right solution, but it will either be a Dolce or a Wyndham full-service hotel, both of which are upscale have upscale brand standards. And we will ensure that the PIP achieves those things that we've identified in our visits and in our due diligence period that we will go through to make sure that the final product is one that the community can be proud of and that will be successful for us as business people. Braxton, anything else that you'd like me to cover in that regard?
Just a quick question. The brushstroke that you went through us on the revamped Holiday Inn, was that a Wyndham full-service hotel?
Yes, we bought that as a Holiday Inn, and in February of this year, we converted that over to a Wyndham full-service hotel. And we have another Wyndham full-service hotel, which is also, it's a smaller hotel, it's 131 rooms, but it is also a full-service Wyndham. Doing very well. We're very pleased with it. And again, these are all full-service hotels with restaurants, cafes, liquor license, and meeting capacity within those hotels. So this Topeka, if we do a Wyndham full-service hotel, will be our 3rd location. That's a full-service Wyndham. And it's my intent to do those going forward. We do have one hotel which is a drive-to destination resort. It was not large enough for us to consider a Dolce, but we still went with Wyndham as a trademark collection, which is a boutique hotel brand within Wyndham that allows us to again maintain that local uniqueness. In that case, it's a lodge design, Northwood's lodge design, and we felt it was important to maintain that brand identity, have a well-established identity. But we're looking at another resort now in the Northwest, which is probably a future Dolce because it incorporates a golf course and marina, and it's a larger resort property.
The only other thing, Roy, that you may want to say a few words about the other property that you own in the city of Topeka. I know that you did that one right in terms of the rehab, and then I think you have a staff member who's been there for about 50 years tending bar.
Oh yeah, great story. And I encourage all of you, let me know if you want to go have a drink on us, because we have the Endeavor Inn Suites, which is the first, really the second project, but the first hotel that we built bought with the intention of repositioning. And it's over on Henderson Road off Wanamaker. It sits behind Country Inn Suites, that's probably what everybody sees, but we're right behind it. It's a courtyard style hotel, and we have completely redone that hotel. We completely demoed. I tell the story to other people. If you've seen the movie The Money Pit, that's how I felt for a while. Because when we demoed the inside, I had a big mud pit in the center of my hotel. But it was the right thing to do because we rebuilt that courtyard, and it's a fan favorite now. It's a guest favorite area. But we redid all the guest rooms. We redid the public spaces, new tile, light fixtures, lighting, mechanical systems, and architecturally we wanted to change it. And Greg's firm was the architectural firm that helped us with that, sort of reimagining the exterior without any major sort of structural changes other than the approach to the hotel, but also the courtyard design was something that Greg's firm was very involved with and very influential for us. And we have a GM reception because, again, we're about social interaction. We want our hotels to be more than just a place to sleep. And I told Greg at the time when he was doing the project, I said, Greg, you need to go to the hotel and experience one of these because it's unique, because you don't see it anymore. Because people will plan their trip to stop at our hotel and spend the night, but the real reason is they want to reconnect with Bev. Bev is our bartender there. She's been with the hotel since 1985 through multiple ownerships, and everybody knows Bev. And to the fact where I think Greg at one of our meetings after he was there had gotten a poem that one of the guests that night had written about how he was that Bev helped them reconnect with their memories and their past. And then you will see people that have no other connection in this hotel that happen to be there at the same time, but they've been there in the past together. So it's like old friends at a reunion, and they end up, after having a few drinks at the hotel with Bev, they go out to dinner together. And these are people that, other than the hotel, would not have any connection. So we like the idea of building connections and building social interaction, and definitely having people like Bev that are huge components to our success.
If I could ask, when we visited, we talked a little bit about the plans that you have, and it's something we all realize that people see this surface of the cosmetics, as it were, but they don't understand the infrastructure plans that you have as well. And one that I would ask you to highlight a bit are the IT features that you would intend to upgrade the hotel.
Yeah, we live in a brave new world, right? With AI coming online and the capabilities of IT, and there's an expectation on the part of guests and clients that they're going to have a seamless experience in terms of their interaction with technology. And that starts before they ever get to the hotel, in the pre-arrival ability to communicate effectively in ways which add value, not just to bug people with upsell offers and those types of things, but things that will help them get to the hotel, understand what the weather is, and things like that. So we've invested very heavily in that, but I'm going through a tuition and education process in this because what I'm finding is that technology is expanding and the expectations are so growing so fast, it's not just about bandwidth and about whether your device can hook up to the Wi-Fi anymore. It's about the infrastructure that's in the walls, the switches, the routers, the access points, and our ability as a provider of services to give you the bandwidth you need for your event. For instance, the ability for you to, or let's take the Kansas Teachers Association. We would love to have them as a client, and I'm sure they do some sort of summer event as an association. We would love the opportunity, I think they would love the opportunity to not only be able to provide education and training to their members on site, but for the people that may be up in Holby or somewhere that can't get to the conference, that they could participate virtually. So that's a whole nother level of difficulty from an IT perspective, to be able to have interactive video teleconferencing on a large scale, and it requires large investments. In our Columbia Hotel, we made investments last year, and I just put another $250,000 into additional things that no one will ever see, but that are essential to be able to deliver a quality IT experience. But also, if it's a large corporation, or I use the example, we just hosted the Missouri Bar exam. And we've done that for years. But this year, for the first time, they're administering it digitally. So imagine an auditorium full of aspirants trying to get through their bar exam, and Amanda can appreciate this. My wife is an attorney, so I remember what she went through when she was preparing for the California bar. So you've got all this anxiety and expectation about the next step in their career. If you're going to do that digitally, you cannot have an IT failure. You can't have somebody lose their work and not get it back, or have the test delayed because you overwhelm the system. And so we made that investment well above what that conference is going to bring us, but we figured, okay, this is not the first time, this won't be the last time. So we're going to make the investment necessary so that when a meeting planner or a large corporation looks at any of our facilities as a potential site for their event, when they talk technology, we're going to have the answers. From a cybersecurity perspective, not just from a bandwidth perspective. It's not just about bandwidth. If they're going to connect their system into that conference to be able to access their data, we have to ensure that it's secure. So there's much more to it, but that's the price of entry. That's our product. It's a key component of running a conference hotel, and so we're committed to making those investments.
Thank you, Mike. Any further corrections? Anyone else would come?
Just kind of want to remind people that for the most part, this hotel was bought to protect the investment of all the money, that almost $50 million was put into the Expo Center. And with this type of deal, it looks like we might be able to even help the county even more with some of those improvements. We're getting what we're asking for. Updating the hotel, a flag or a name brand, wherever we want to put it. Someone that wants to attract events, and someone that has a long-term plan and long-term investment into the hotel. It was brought up earlier, this goes down to shut it all down. That to me is the most ridiculous idea long-term for that hotel or for the city. We'd lose so many events we wouldn't get back anymore. That we're trying to do our best. We're trying to save those events that do book the city, like Kansas Kid Wrestling that does book the whole entire city. And we're trying to figure out, but to me this sounds like a very, very good deal for the city and for the hotel. I know there's a lot of misinformation out there about how the city's gonna recoup its money or why we bought this.
This guy never returns his phone calls.
And not just
ever.
Keep on passing this information. Thank you.
Further? Okay. Again, thank you, Mr. Arnold, for your presentation. I appreciate your time.
Mr. Mayor, council members, staff, thank you very much.
Okay, Madam Clerk, there are no executive sessions, am I correct?
Correct.
Okay, no other business to come before the TDC? Okay, no one's had it for public comment, this meeting is adjourned.